Evangelism takes place through patience. He points out that the early church wrote three extensive treatises on patience, but not a single one on evangelism. The way they lived was actually what caused people to become very intrigued. As he says, evangelism comes from people being intrigued by our way of life. Origen saw all the world as a theater watching to see how Christians respond to persecution. So part of what they were doing in terms of evangelism is they would undergo these various persecutions. And because there was so much training on how to patiently endure through all kinds of different adversarial circumstances, people would see this resilient patience. And this patience was just being fermented constantly by the leaders of the church amongst all of the people that were coming into the kingdom at the time. And it was really an encounter with that patient ferment that caused people to want to become believers. He says, quote, "The Christian focus was not on saving people or recruiting them. It was on living faithfully in the belief that when people's lives are habituated in the way of Jesus, others will want to join them." So a huge part of this is changing the habits of people from being the regular kind of impatient way that somebody would normally live, being offended and being reactive to these circumstances, to living out this lifestyle of trust and patience. And he quotes Wolfgang Reinbold, who describes church growth in this way: if the Christians raise their children as Christians, and then Christian men in the course of a generation can convince only one of his pagan neighbors, that will create explosive growth over 3 centuries. So a big part of what the author was describing is if you can train your own children, so you keep 100% of your kids or close to 100%, and then just see one person come to faith, then you're going to have exponential growth over the course of a number of centuries. And oftentimes when we focus on evangelism, lose our kids in the process, not attract people through our way of life, then this oftentimes leads to a shrinking church. So it's a really interesting thesis, and the connections he was making there were very unique, and I thought were really helpful.